The story of Jephthah, a man who made a vow to God that cost him more than he ever imagined. This isn't just a Bible story. It's a raw, emotional journey of a man faced with a desperate decision, a man trying to honor God, but in the end, finds himself trapped by the very vow he made. What happens when victory and loss collide in the most heartbreaking way possible? Watch closely, because this is the story of Jephthah and the price of a vow. In a time when Israel was divided and vulnerable, and its people scattered, there was a warrior from the land of Gilead, Jephthah. He wasn't born into privilege. In fact, he wasn't even accepted by his own family. His mother was a prostitute, and because of this, he was cast out of his home, rejected by his brothers, and forced to live as an outcast, wandering with other unwanted men. Life for Jephthah was harsh, but in the fire of rejection, something forged in him, a strength, a determination to survive, to fight. But Jephthah was more than just a warrior. He had a gift. He was a man of skill, of leadership. So when Israel was on the brink of destruction and the Ammonites came against them in battle, the people remembered him. They remembered the man who had survived, who had fought, who had led. And in their desperation, they called on him. They begged him to return and lead them to victory. They promised him authority, respect, and honor in exchange for his leadership. And Jephthah, with the weight of Israel's future on his shoulders, agreed. But in the midst of preparing for war, a moment of desperation overcame Jephthah. He made a vow to God. "If you give me victory over the Ammonites," he promised, "I will sacrifice whatever comes out of the door of my house to meet me when I return home in triumph." It was a vow born from the heat of the moment, an attempt to secure God's favor, to ensure success. He believed that a vow to God would bring the victory he needed, but he had no idea what that vow would cost him. It seemed simple enough at the time, a way to guarantee victory. But as we'll soon see, no promise made lightly is ever simple. Jephthah went to battle, and against all odds, God granted him the victory. The Ammonites were defeated, Israel was saved, and Jephthah returned home as a hero. But there, standing at the door of his house, was his daughter, his only child, the one he loved more than anything in the world, ran out to greet him in joy. But then, the crushing weight of his vow hit him. He had promised God that he would sacrifice whatever came out of his door in victory, and now the very one he cherished most was the one who stood before him, unaware of the promise that would change everything. Jephthah's heart sank. He realized with a sinking, gut-wrenching sorrow that his victory had come at a cost he wasn't ready to pay. His daughter, full of joy, unaware of the devastation that was about to unfold, ran toward him. She had no idea that her father's victory had sealed her fate. Jephthah, in his anguish, told his daughter what had to be done, explaining the vow he had made. She, incredibly, responded with grace and understanding. She asked for 2 months to mourn her virginity, knowing she would never marry, never have children. She went with her friends, and in those 2 months, she lamented the life she would never live. When she returned, Jephthah did what he had vowed. The Bible doesn't go into the details, but the tragedy is unmistakable. A father, fulfilling his vow to God, sacrificed the one person he loved most in this world. This story is a heartbreaking reminder of the cost of promises made in the heat of the moment. Jephthah's vow, though made with the best of intentions, resulted in a sorrow that could never be undone. His victory over the Ammonites became a tragedy he would carry for the rest of his life. Say amen if you've learned something from this story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories from the Bible.